Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in today and joining me, Ross Marchigiani, and learning about some omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. First off, real quick, I just want to apologize for looking a little tattered. It's November. I'm trying to go for No Shave November, so it's towards the end here, and I'm kind of ready for this to be gone. But I just wanted to let you know and apologize about that. Anyways, back to the important topic of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. So basically, I know a lot of people have probably heard about omega-3 and omega-6 in some way, and are familiar with the words omega-6 and omega-3. And what I want to do is shed some light on, what they entail and the importance and the key point to take home about omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. So what their true name is: alpha-linoleic acid, which refers to our omega-3, and then our linoleic acid, which is going to refer to obviously our omega-6 fatty acid. So what these are essential fatty acids. And what that means is that we don't make them. So we have to take them from an outside source in order to get adequate amounts. And that means also, since they're essential, our body needs them and we need to have them in our body. But unfortunately, we don't make them. So basically, what these are going to do, they're going to make our carcinoids, our lipoxins, resolvins, and endocannabinoids. So what these do, I'll go real quick into each one. We've got our carcinoids, which are going to help with our inflammatory response and help with basically cellular function. Then next, we'll get more into that, the carcinoids. Next, we have our lipoxins, which are going to be, surprisingly you'll find out here, are going to be produced by our omega-6 fatty acid. And this is going to do a good job in down-regulating our inflammatory response. So it does a good job fighting inflammation. Then we have our resolvins, which is huge. This is a really great supplement and great molecule to be taking in. I say supplement because Nutridyne has resolvins, a resolvent supplement out there that does a great job and is just, puts you on key and on point all day long. And I love it. Basically what resolvins do, they're going to obviously decrease our inflammation. So, it's going to fight our inflammation, and it does a great job in cellular repair, just really keeping us on point. Lastly, we have our endocannabinoids. This is again going to help with mood, behavior, and inflammation. So what all these molecules really do, they're really important for cell signaling. And as you can tell, there was definitely all these molecules had a major commonality, which was inflammation. And that's really the key point to take home today, is inflammation and what it does to the body. There's been multiple, studies and researches done that have proven that inflammation is kind of the key cause, is the key cause for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, stroke, epilepsy, mood disorders, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, elevated blood pressure. The list goes on and on. So really important that if we have control of inflammation, that we have control of our health. That's a real, key point to take home. And, what kind of is the major, production of this inflammatory action is our arachidonic acid, which will be produced by our omega-6 and is considered in a carcinoid. So let me break that down again. Omega-6 is going to produce our arachidonic acid, and arachidonic acid falls under the category of a carcinoids. And what arachidonic acid does is what it's going to do, it's going to diffuse into our nucleus, and then from there it can cause DNA transcription of cytokines and other various inflammatory hormones. And basically the key point here to take is that it causes transcription of cytokines. And what that is basically, it's a leukocyte, a white blood cell. And what does white blood cells do? They want to defend. They want to protect us. And their primary response to protect us is to create inflammatory state. And I won't go into more detail why it does that, but that's the key point you need to take here, is that leukocytes, are going to be, cytokines, but leukocytes are involved in the immune defense process. But anyway, cytokines, think of them as like your best friend that everyone wants to hang out with, and when that person is around, everyone comes and hangs out, and that's what these cytokines are. So they're that friend, telling everyone, come on, let's get together, let's hang out, and let's hang out, have a good time. And that's what like I said, that's what these cytokines do. They bring all of the other white blood cells, the neutrophils, the basophils, the eosinophils, and mast cells producing histamine, and they are going to create that immune defense mechanism, creating an inflammatory state. So that's really the key point to take home here. And then also the arachidonic acid is going to produce prostaglandin, thromboxane, and leukotriene, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about arachidonic acid and basically the derivatives that come from arachidonic acid. So like I've already talked about, we're going to produce 3 derivatives. Our first one is going to be prostaglandin. So I know there's a lot going on here, but we're going to focus on, it's 3 derivatives. So if we follow this pathway right here, we have prostaglandin synthesis, which is going to produce our prostaglandin derivative. And basically what this is very associated with an inflammatory response in arthritis. So, people who are having arthritis or joint pain, this is directly related in the pain sensation of arthritis. So if we can help block this molecule or decrease our amount of omega-6 we take in, we're going to downregulate the amount of prostaglandin that we produce, therefore lowering our pain tolerance, or just lowering the amount of pain that we're in, especially in arthritic patients. Next, we're going to look at is going to be thromboxane. So if we look over here in the next pathway, we have thromboxane synthesis, which is obviously going to produce our thromboxane molecule. And what this is really important for people who are already at elevated cardiovascular risks or have already had a cardiovascular event, whether it be a heart attack or stroke of some sort. So again, thromboxane, what it's going to do, it's going to cause increased blood clotting. So as you can tell, if someone already has a cardiovascular disease or had a cardiovascular event, this is something that they do not want large amounts circulating in their blood, therefore increasing their blood clotting, which is just has bad news written all over it. And the last one that for a lot of people this could probably really hits home for is our leukotriene. So this is going to be followed or seen in this pathway right here. And what leukotriene is going to cause when we take in obviously our arachidonic acid and produce our derivative, which is going to be leukotriene, it's going to cause an allergic response. So this has obviously a big issue with people who have severe allergies or maybe even mild allergies. So again, if we can decrease the amount of omega-6 and decrease our arachidonic acid, we're going to lower the amount of circulating leukotriene in our body. So again, arachidonic acid, we've got that prostaglandin, we've got the thromboxane, and we've got the leukotriene. And just really the key point here is this is kind of, the culprit of it all is our arachidonic acid. It's going to, produce derivatives of all 3 of these. And then next here, real quick, I just want to really kind of bring this together so it hits home and it makes sense for you, okay? So obviously over here, we have our normal blood cell. there's not too much inflammation. They're probably having a good ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And on the right here is where we have a blood vessel that, probably someone has a high amount of omega-6 causing arachidonic acid and causing cytokines to the affected area. And as you can tell, so these little dots here, the little purple dots are going to simulate our cytokines. And as you can tell here, it's inflamed, it's swelling, and it's going to cause for narrowing of that blood vessel. So basically, we taken, like I said, we taken that arachidonic acid, those cytokines, or our immune response comes into action. We cause for that inflamed state. And as you can tell, if someone already has, high blood pressure or high triglycerides or cholesterol, there's going to be a serious issue because that's already narrowing what was over here a healthy blood vessel. Nice wide blood vessel, no problem for those red blood cells to get through. And here, when we take in our arachidonic acid, we've got an inflamed state that's just going to cause issues. So I really hope that kind of brings the point home, and that we really want to try to stay away from our omega-6s or at least have a good ratio of our omega-6s.